in those centuries. It's a town of Tabo, and the example I'm going to show you is here. It's a fairly large temple complex, and it's not carved into a cliff. It's a temple made out of wood and mortar. It dates from the 11th century, and it has yet another kind of painting of the Wheel of Rebirth. So here's Tabo over here. Here is the outline of the Tibetan Autonomous Region, pretty much. Here's Sichuan. Here's Xinjiang. So this is where we're talking about. I'm going to show you later in a moment some temples from the central part of Tibet. Again, located on where's the Wheel of Rebirth? On the outer side. This assembly hall contains statues of 33 deities. It's a mandala, or it's a residence or palace of deities, and this is what they look like full size. They're about 6 foot tall. They are mounted against the wall, so they stand out from the wall at eye level, and they are mounted all the way around the mandala because this is their palace. Outside that, as you saw in this illustration, outside that main hall is just an entryway, and that's where we see the Wheel of Rebirth. The Wheel of Rebirth is a little hard to see, but the details are clear, and this is a very nice projector. Most projectors can't see quite the details on my PowerPoint as well here. What do we have here? Here's a wheel. Here's the outermost rim of the wheel. Here is a deity, all right, her eyes here. One hand going here holding the wheel, the other hand here holding the wheel. That's the outer ring. We have a being. I have a better picture of him. I'll show you the next picture. A being passing through a barrel, transmigrating there. And up here we have another text box. Right? These are, in Tibetan, the same stanzas which the Buddha commands in the Vinaya be written on the painting of the Wheel of Rebirth. Here is the lower part of the deities of the goddess's hand here. So this is a lower segment of the wheel. And presumably in the original wheel there were 4 goddesses in this opposed to each other diagonally. And we know from some slightly later paintings that that's in fact a standard iconography for them. And here we have a being. Yes, here we have a being, his feet, long legs, his or her, and then kind of diving head first with hands outstretched through the barrel. The next site I want to show you is from the 13th century. When I first started doing research in Sichuan, it was in Sichuan, but now that the Chongqing municipality has gotten so big, this site is now considered part of Chongqing. So all of you Chongqing natives, this is now part of your home as well. It's no longer part of Sichuan. The site is a vast outdoor religious park. It consists not of cave temples built inside of things, but of open cliffs like this one here, low cliffs, stone facades into which scenes are cut, but they're not hidden away. There's not a door constructed. There are not walls built to keep people out or regulate the flow. And it appears to have always been like this. It dates from the 13th century, at which time, as you know, China, under the Yuan dynasty, was but 1/4 of a Pan-Asian empire, the Mongol Empire. So, here's Dazu, almost in the southwest part of China, the Yuan dynasty, and really connected to the other parts of the Mongol Empire. Right under here's the Buddha's gaze right here that we saw in the Parinirvana scene 2 slides back. This is the probable founder of the site in the 13th century, a man named Zhao. And this is a local holy man from many centuries before named Liu, who is honored at the site. And here is the Wheel of Rebirth. My colleague, your teacher, Angela Howard, has written now just the standard book on the whole site of Baldin Shan, entitled Summit of Treasures. And she and I both chose to use this particular scene of the Wheel of Rebirth on the covers of our books because it's so gripping. This is the demon here. These are the same stanzas in Chinese here. And they've added to them, actually. They first translated them and they add to them as well. There are 6 paths. There are Buddhas in each of the paths. In the center, let's leave out the center because I'm going to give you a detailed shot of the center. Around the center are 6 paths. Animals you can see here pretty clearly. Large beings, these are the demigods, the gods here, humans here. Around that are 18 links in the chain of causation. And then around that is the local version of those barrels. And you see beings, animals turning into other animals, and human beings turning into animals, and vice versa as they jump through the barrels. So what's at the center of this representation? At the center is, I'm ignoring the large figure in the middle for the moment. Sure enough, the 3 poisons, the snake, the pig, the bird. But then there's this large figure, seated in a meditation posture. Professor Howard suggests, and I agree with her, she's certainly more of an expert on everything about this site than I am. Professor Howard argues that the figure in the center is the founder of the site. He's the organizer, the money raiser, the main patron for the site, Mr. Zhao. And she bases that partly on the fact that he has curly hair in all the representations of him. And this figure does as well. So if you put that together, what is it saying about the Wheel of Rebirth? What is it saying about samsara and the 6 paths? That they can be located, they either go into or stream out of the chest of the meditator, as they do here. Right? One suggestion is that this is a way of saying that the 6 paths of rebirth, that all forms of life and death, originate in the mind or the heart of the practitioner. That there is a deep connection between the individual's mind and all forms of life around him or her. I'm going to go very quickly through my last set of examples. My intention in presenting them is just to show you the spread and variety of paintings of the Wheel of Rebirth in modern Tibetan temples. And by modern, I mean basically from the time, do I have a map here? No. Basically from the time of the 5th Dalai Lama, the 17th century, and later, from the 17th century through the 20th century, when a certain orthodoxy had settled over Tibet, when a certain combination of cooperation or domination between the ruler and the institution of the Dalai Lama held sway for those centuries. What do we find? We find paintings of the Wheel of Rebirth back here at the Samye Monastery. Historically, it's alleged to be the first Buddhist monastery in Tibet, although this particular painting is only a few hundred years old. In central Tibet, at Drebung.